I'm here with Lisa Frank, who is a very dear friend, as well as my legal counsel. Lisa and I go way back, and I wanted to read a little part of the dedication from my book, in which I wrote, and to all the people brave enough to face the world when undergoing adversity, as well as the guardian angels who help them and make the world a better place. And I wanted to share that because Lisa has always been one of the guardian angels for me. You really have. You know, she really looks out for me, and she's been such a devoted friend and fan of the product line and such a supporter. And when I met Lisa, you were already a breast cancer survivor, and we sort of bonded over that we were both cancer survivors. And then just this past year, August, Lisa was diagnosed again with breast cancer. And had to go through the whole rigmarole again, if not more so. And we're going to show you on Lisa a couple of things that have affected her while she's been undergoing. She went through chemo and radiation this summer, and has had several surgeries. And you look terrific, by the way. You know, so that's good. I mean, the hair is growing back, and I think that's just a matter of time. The eyebrows are growing back, but we're going to show how to fill them in. The complexion, a little bit sallow. So I want to show you how to break up the sallowness in the complexion, and also how to do a little bit of contouring. You're not on any steroids or anything, are you?
No, I'm taking one medication, but it's not steroids.
Okay, because you don't look like you're on steroids, is why I'm asking. And some people, when they're on steroids, they do get that very swollen pancake face. I know I certainly had it towards the tail end of my treatment because I was taking prednisone during chemo. And on the tail end, it was very cumulative. I got very kind of pancake-faced, and my eyes became very like slits, you know, and my body felt very swollen. And so that's an issue that people always ask about, is how to contour, how to bring out the cheekbones. It's something I think we illustrate beautifully in the book, but I wanted to show it here on the DVD today too. So we're going to get started now doing Lisa's makeup routine. We're going to start with a little bit of concealer around the eyes, as always. That's always the first thing I do. Now I'm going to show you something I haven't done on anyone before, which you've seen me do steps like filling in people's eyebrows, doing the concealer, setting the concealer with powder, then doing the foundation, then doing eyebrows, then following the setting the concealer and the eyebrows again with a little translucent powder. But in reality, what I really do when I'm actually working as a makeup artist, or if I were doing it on myself, in order to save a few steps, I do the concealer first, which we've done, and then the miracle brow on the eyebrows if we're going to fill the eyebrows, and then set the whole thing with powder. Instead of doing step 1, then powder, step 2, then powder, just do it all at once. It's all about consolidating your routine. So instead of doing bronzer or foundation, now we're going to do the brows first, and then set the whole thing with powder. An important point during treatment, especially, or when you're just out of treatment, look for products that are hypoallergenic. You know, you want to make sure that something isn't too heavily fragranced so that you won't have a reaction to it. Mascara should always be replaced after 3 months after using it, even if you've only used it once. Once it's touched your eye and you put the wand back in the tube, after 3 months you should replace it because bacteria develops. Other products like foundation, lipstick, can last 2 to 3 years depending on the formulas and what temperature they're kept at. It's always best to keep things at room temperature. When something smells funky, that means it's spoiled and you should toss it. So now we're setting everything with a little translucent powder, and then we'll do the foundation, or actually I want to show bronzer on you first. And I use the bronzer to contour, to give a healthy glow. I found bronzer to be particularly fantastic while I was undergoing chemo, because I found each day I either looked a little pale, a little sallow. There was always just something going on with my complexion where I just didn't look healthy. And when I was going to work every day and I didn't want to look like I was going through chemo, I would use bronzer. This bronzer is made with lots of good ingredients, actually green tea, green apple, sugar cane, citrus. So you always want to use things that have multiple use that are good, good for you. It really does give like a very healthy glow. I tend to wear this all the time myself, even though I'm 8 years out of treatment. It really does just make your skin look better, and just a little bronzer and a little concealer and you're like a whole new person. We're going to do a little foundation on top of the bronzer. If you want a more natural look, you can do just the bronzer. But just to perfect the skin a little bit, because we're going to be doing contouring and we want the makeup to show up. Okay, we've perfected the complexion. You look very glowy.
I never thought of putting the base over the bronzer.
Yeah, it really works. It just gives, like, you still have the bronzed effect, but it's just, it looks a little more like it's coming from inside your skin. And we're going to do a little bit of the eyeliner on the upper lash line. And I'm going to do this over the entire eye, the shadow. A little bit of a smokier eye, instead of just doing it on the crease, which is a more subtle look. But I think with the shape of your eyes, this is a great look for you. Another thing with makeup that's really a good tip is that many people look at, when they're buying products, they look at the color in the packaging and they go, oh, like that's a pretty pink blush, without thinking, how is it going to look on my skin? It's more important how it looks on you than how it looks in the packaging. Now I'm lining Lisa's lower lash line with a lighter color than the liner on top. We're just cleaning up under the eyes. Another thing, there are all sorts of multiple products. This concealer is also an eye moisturizer. I've shown my multiple sticks, which can be used on eyes, cheeks, lips, face glosses that can be used on eyes, cheeks, and lips. The powder blush can be used over the eyes as an eyeshadow. So always look for things that are multi-purpose, because why not get more use out of one product? One thing I hadn't shown yet, but I want to show now, is my whipped liquid air colors. These are liquid that dry to a powder, just like the foundation. It goes on as a liquid, you don't need a brush, and you just blend it with your finger, and it's very light feeling, and it gives a really natural look. It's like airbrushed makeup in a tube. It looks lavender, but it gives a very natural rosy flush of color to the skin. And you can even add it to the eyes. And we're going to do a little lip color. We'll keep it natural. This is the two lips, which is two lip products in one. There's the gloss here. It's sort of like a glossy lipstick, very conditioning and very not sticky, which people seem to really like. Also, a light shimmery color makes the lips look fuller. And the pencil is right in the cap, so it sort of takes the guesswork out of it. And now to contour. We're going to do two things to contour. One is to add a deeper color blush down here where you want to create some depth under the bone. You can also do this with like a tawny powder blush. But I find with sticks you can really sort of create the line that you want to create when you're contouring. So we've added color to create depth, and now we're going to add a highlighter to create a light effect. And that you do high up on the cheekbone. So it's all about light and shadow when you're contouring. So if Lisa were very round-faced, or if she were swollen from steroids, this technique of adding a darker color below and a highlighter above would really kind of create the illusion of a cheekbone. And there we have it. Take a look. And you can see as the light hits her cheekbones, turn your head a little bit slowly, like side to side, so the light can just play on your cheekbones and the other way as well. And you can see how her bone structure is emphasized by the highlighter and the color underneath it. And that's what contouring is about.